I started skateboarding, my very first board was in the late 70s, just a banana board. But it wasn't until 1986 when I got my first real pro deck. And that's where it all really started for me. Skateboarding was fairly new, but it was growing rapidly. A lot of my friends we were all into it. Me and my brother built ramps, and I got into skating vert, and that was my first big love with skateboarding was ramp riding. I'm 42 years old now, and I've been skateboarding my whole life.
And the dude rips. He's like in his late 30s, I think. Sorry, Randy, if you're not that old. But he's just like, he's ripping. The dude seriously has knee braces attached to his knee pads, and he's in like the 12-foot bowl, like airing. If you check some of our photos, one of the coolest photo sessions I got to be a part of was me doing a 5-0 grind under, and he's airing over top. Like, this dude is ripping. He's so good, and he just loves skateboarding and snowboarding. And so he started with the snowboard brand, and eventually moved into like, how do I do both, and then switched to his focus on skateboarding and the skateboard scene. And again, like I said, he was into vert ramps and things like that. So over the years, the shapes have evolved and different things like that. But the cool thing is that we still have all this knowledge of where skateboarding started and where snowboarding started, and it's all in this guy who's still running the company. And it's literally like him and a couple other dudes, and they're just grinding it out. Like, if you have an olive board in your hands, like, it is most likely built by one man, and it's this dude who has gone through and perfected the process of all of skateboarding, and it's amazing. You don't have to wonder about who's making your boards. You know exactly who's making your boards. I find that so cool. So I moved to a little town called Medicine Hat. It's in Alberta, in our local area. And we were always doing skateboard events for kids, believing in kids, teaching kids how to skateboard, teaching people about the culture, trying to basically change the face of skateboarding, that not everyone was a bad jerk kid who just wanted to vandalize and do drugs. That these kids were contributing members of society, everything like that. All of Skateboards was there from the beginning. All of Skateboards wanted to help. All of Skateboards wanted to be a part of where we were going. They've sponsored through events. They've sent us with boards to Aboriginal reserves in our area, and they've helped out so many kids get off doing bad things and getting them on the right track of just like focusing on something that's artistic and something that's fun. And all of Skateboards has been a part of that whole process. They have helped so many people.
Here in Alberta, winters come around and kind of shut down the whole skate scene due to cold weather. I got into snowboarding because that was fairly new also. It was a few years after that. I think it was 86, 87. And snowboarding came super easy for me. I started competing professionally a few years after that, and had numerous sponsors that I was giving ideas to, and I had a couple injuries with ACLs and had reconstruction on both knees, and it was at that time that I figured, well, maybe I would take my ideas and start my own snowboard brand. And in 1993, Olive company was established, and it was solely a snowboard company until about 98, when I took the technology and just the knowledge of building snowboards and just started building skateboards. And it was after that that the Olive Skateboard side of things basically took over, and I was juggling both productions and still am, but my main focus has been the skateboards ever since then. The skateboards, we source all the wood locally in Canada. I work closely with our team of skateboarders, local guys, help design, and we just kind of a lot of feedback from them that to create the new molds, which we do everything in house, all the shaping and all the little details. Olive is, we're a smaller company, but we're capable of doing, large production runs. But we do, majority of our boards are smaller runs. Every graphic is printed in house. Every board has been handheld to inspect, and all the steps are very hands-on. Well, I've always been creative. Growing up on a farm, I always would tear stuff apart and put it back together, and we had welders and all kinds of equipment on the farm. So I was always just playing around with equipment, and it was when I started to get into the manufacturing. I started building my own presses, just modifying equipment, and my heart has always been in advancing everything. If there's a part that can be built better, well, I'll try to focus my time on that. And with Olive specifically right now, that's just the manufacturing process. How can I make each step easier on me physically, or whoever else is in the shop, just help them to make it easier on the body and easier on timelines, and the end product just being the tolerances being tighter, just due to the CNCs and robotics and just that kind of technology. It's hard to compete with. When I started Olive, thinking that it would free up time for more skateboarding, and that was far from the truth. It's taken up a lot of my time producing boards, but that has turned into such a passion and a love for me that I've rarely come into work and I'm not excited. I love taking the raw materials and putting them together for to create a product that the end consumer and myself are just it brings so much pleasure and just excitement that that makes it all so worth it.